What?
The old one and I shall slumber interminably. That is the way it must be. Thou mayst go, be gone to thine world.
I feel like there's something that I'm missing here.
The old one and I shall slumber interminably. That is the way it must be. Thou mayst go, be gone to thine world.
What am I missing? Okay, there's the fog gate back there. I honestly don't know what to do. Yeah, let's just listen to her, I guess.
My thanks. At last, my duty is fulfilled.
All right, let's go. I feel like they wanted me to kill her or something. There's nothing else for me to do. But, I see no reason to mistrust her.
The Old One, along with the Maiden, were swept back into the lulling fog. Boletaria was spared from the demons, but also lost its knowledge of soul arts. The souls lost during the pandemonium were never retrieved. And today, the unstable world has another monumental to hold its fabric together. A brave new hero of unprecedented power.
I assume that's me. I'm the new Monumental. And that's the game. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to take this game. I feel like it is a great concept. I love the idea of this game. I feel like it lacks in execution in a lot of different ways. Probably the biggest one for me would be the controls and control scheme. The fact that I would often not do what I wanted to do was a big problem for me. It's not a bad game by any means, but I feel like there's a lot of flaws to the game. That being the one that sticks out the most to me is definitely the controls. I also feel like the game was a little inconsistent with how things worked. So having some enemies that were susceptible to certain attacks, but only some of the time, was definitely not something that I appreciated. Speaking of which, there's the false King Alant, as opposed to the old King Alant that we killed down at the bottom. I feel like false King Alant, he made the game worse. To have a boss that literally takes away stats is definitely not something that I appreciate at all. I feel like that is breaking several rules of video games. To have that happen. I understand they want to make things punishing, they want to make things hard. I honestly don't think the game was that difficult. I've played harder games. I just feel like the game was unfair at a lot of points. I never did meet Mephistopheles, but apparently it's a lot easier to do when multiplayer is available. I didn't have the opportunity to really do that this time without completely changing the entire playthrough. Apparently there was a whole bunch of stuff that I missed because I didn't have access to multiplayer. I feel like the game is a different game because I don't have access to multiplayer, but at the same time, this is something that I feel the game overly relied on, I feel like the game relied on a community to make the game better for the individual player, and I've never been a fan of that tactic of saying, well, you know, the plot. Well, if you talk to each other about it, maybe you'll start figuring things out. The game should let me know what's going on, I feel. I feel like the game's plot was minimal, to say the least, and most of the secrets and the exploration and the items and the menu stuff, they revealed lore to me, but they did not reveal plot. The plot was kill the demons, save the world. And the rest of it, you know, finding out why, you know, that guy in particular was around, was much more about lore than it was about plot. Why is he standing there? Because this happened in the past. And I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go about telling a story, is to have clues to the lore and almost nothing about the plot. I think the game would have been a lot better should it have given me, you know, when I showed up in each boss area for the first time, just a little bit about who this guy was and why I was fighting him. You know, maybe not necessarily when I go into the boss fight, maybe when I start the level, but something along the way would have been nice. I still don't know what the deal with that thing was. Like Storm King, something like that? No idea what that was. But overall, I would say that the game was fun. I feel like there's very specific ways you have to play the game. There's like 3 ways I can think, and all of them involve rolling. Parrying is not really a strong strategy in this game. You need to roll. Don't... Hey, I got the Maiden in Black Demon Soul. There's definitely New Game Plus. The game does anticipate you playing several times through, not just once or twice. What happens here?
Lost, withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost, withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not exit the Nexus, but each of the 5 archstones will connect them to another.
So yeah, this is automatically into New Game Plus. But yeah, I've had problems with most of the aspects of the game. Honestly, the main design, the overall design of the game is something that I don't think works towards its benefit. These are all reset? No. The world tendency carries over. Yeah, so world tendency, soul tendency, never explained in the game. You would have to rely on other people telling you about that. The archstone up here doesn't go anywhere. I feel like it was supposed to be DLC that they canceled. That they decided, let's just work on the next game instead. And ultimately, that's how I feel like this game works, is it works best as a prototype for future games, and not necessarily as a standalone game by itself. Also, the Maiden Black called me here, and she is gone until I kill Phalanx. Until I kill my first demon. Nowhere to be found. Yeah, the game structure is just kind of odd. I feel like it needs a lot of polish. Like I said, it's a great concept, but ultimately I feel like the problems that I have with it kind of outweigh the concept. I do look forward to eventually playing some of the sequels. From what I understand, the sequels do improve upon most of my issues. But yeah, the game setup, since I'm staring at it, it reminds me of Super Mario 64. But I feel like in Super Mario 64, when you got to go through these doors, they made more sense. I also felt like there was a definite order to the game, how I was supposed to play it. And they didn't let me know, and in fact, like, there was one clue to the entire thing, was just, hey, you need an archdemon soul to get through here. I figured that was something that was going to happen in most of the levels, not just here. For this to be the easiest level to start and the hardest level to finish makes it feel like the rest of these kind of feel like side quests. And especially since nobody really talked about these. Everything important happens in the castle in Boletaria. This is all Boletaria, right? But this is the one that you think of when you think of Boletaria. The rest of these I might forget after a while. I'll remember Boletaria because that's where the important things happened. I don't think that's the right way to set things up, at least. So I guess those are my thoughts on the game. I'm sure I had a lot more that I would like to talk about, but yeah, up and attack. I can't even get it to happen now, of course. Do I have to hold up? Nope, I can't get it to work. Up and attack. For that to be a block, if I could actually get it to work, I think is a very stupid thing. If it was back, you know, if I'm locked on and it's back and attack like that, then that's blocked, that'd be one thing, but for it to be forward and attack, I just think that is not a smart thing. The control scheme, like I said, it's not very good for attack to do completely different things depending on the context, for circle to do completely different things depending on the context, for select to do absolutely nothing, for triangle to be switching between one-handed and two-handed, for X to do nothing in the battle other than pick up items should you happen to be standing over one. I feel like these are not smart decisions. Why is so much on circle when nothing is on X during a battle that's useful? That kind of thing. So those are my thoughts. I did have fun playing the game, like I said. It just was frustrating at a lot of points, particularly Flame Lurker and False King Allant. No surprises there. The rest of the game seemed easy by comparison, but that's because I did things out of the order that the game wanted me to play, but refused to tell me about that order. So yeah, like I said, it feels like a good prototype for a future game. That this is a good working game, but it needed a lot more polish, a lot more testing, that kind of thing. So, with that said, that is going to do it for Let's Play Demon's Souls. I've been ballerscuba. I've been joined, as always, by our champion, the monumental ballerscuba. Hope you guys have enjoyed these parts. Hope you have enjoyed this entire Let's Play. Hope you laughed. Hope you learned. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.